1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3.
Alright, everyone out there in mandolin land, Mike Hedding here, coming to you today with a lesson for the old classic fiddle tune, Cherokee Shuffle in the key of A. This is one of my favorite fiddle tunes, and I really like this one because it sounds really good played faster, up to tempo, but it also can sound good at kind of a more of a moderate, kind of easy listening tempo. So this is a really good one for beginners and intermediate level players. If you're a little more advanced, you can crank up the speed, but if you're a beginner, you can play it a little slower and it'll still sound great. I've got a basic A part and a basic B part, and then a variation for each part. I'll break them all down note for note, and then show you a bunch of backup I would do for this song. So this song has some cool, has the relative minor, F sharp minor in the key of A, has a D chord, E chord. So I'll show you a bunch of those chord shapes all over the neck, give you a bunch of spots to play backup to this tune. And if you're watching the preview of this lesson, you can head over to my website, MikeHeddingMusic.com, and grab the full lesson. You get access to watch all the videos, and you can download the tabs and the practice tracks. All right, here's Cherokee Shuffle in the key of A. All right, let's start breaking down this beginner version of Cherokee Shuffle, the classic fiddle tune in the key of A. I've got kind of a basic A part and then an A part variation and a basic B part and a B part variation. So I did this because, one, it's super common to create variations on these fiddle tunes, but the other reason why this is really helpful is if you're more of a beginner, you could play the basic A part twice and then the basic B part twice, or if you're a little more advanced, you could play the A part variation. So I wanted to give you a few options you can use, but it's really important to learn. So I wanted to give you a few options you can use, but it's super important to learn the basic melody first, because any variations you create, you want it to be based on the basic melody. That's going to help it sound like a variation for Cherokee Shuffle and not just some random kind of licks strung together. So let's start by playing the first 10 measures. It's going to be basically halfway through the A part. So the first basic A part. Here we go. Do that a couple times. And one time really slow. The basic A part is actually going to start in measure 3. So measures 1 and 2 is going to be a pickup. And I would only do this pickup if I was starting the song from square one. So if we were already playing rhythm and someone looked at me to take a solo, I wouldn't play this first pickup. And I'll show you how to modify it. But if I was starting the song and no one else had played yet, this is a great pickup to basically set the tempo. In old time music, they call this potatoes or taters. It's basically mimicking a fiddle shuffle bow. And I kind of think of it as like the equivalent of the drummer clicking their sticks to start the tempo. So we're going to start with our first finger on the 2nd fret of the D string. And we're going to play the middle 2 strings. And I'm going to do a down, down, up, down rhythm. So I'm going to go. So I'm basically setting the tempo. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3. And then the last 8th notes, I'm going to play the 2nd fret. And then the 4th fret. So you basically do that a couple times. You have. And if if you accidentally hit the high E string too, it's not the end of the world. You can hit all the strings except the low one, okay? And if I wasn't starting the song from the absolute beginning, if someone else was playing a solo right before me, I would take out those taters and I would just play the last 2 notes and then going into the open A string. So that's all you'd have to do if you were playing rhythm. So that's all I would do there. And again, it's just a slight modification on whether the song has already started or you're starting the song, okay? One more time, so we have... And then for measure 3, this is where the A part actually starts. We're going to go up and play the open A string and do that same shuffle picking rhythm. We're going to do this a lot in this song, that down, down, up, down, down, up, down. It's a really classic mandolin or fiddle rhythm. So we're going to go open A string on that down, down, up, down. And then open 2 on the A string. So I'd strongly encourage you to follow the pick direction below the tab. So the staple looking cymbals are downstrokes. The V looking cymbals are upstrokes. We're going to use downstrokes on all the downbeats. So 1, 2, 3, 4 on any of the ands, the upbeats, 1 and 2 and 3 and. So for example, on that shuffle rhythm, we're going down, down, up, down, down, up. That'll really help you play the timing, and it'll really help you build good habits if you follow the pick direction below the tab. So I'd strongly encourage you to follow that. So we have, and then open 2 on the A string, and then 4, 2 open, and then down to the 4th fret on the D string, and then 2nd fret, and then 2, 4, which is basically like our pickup. So we have, do that a couple times. So one thing I'd recommend, a little tip, is when you add a higher note, keep your lower finger down. So like when I go, see how I'm keeping my first finger down? I'm not doing this. See how I'm lifting my first finger up there? I'm obviously kind of exaggerating it, but I have to go right back to that note. So lifting it up creates a lot more work. Same thing down here when I go. So I'm keeping this finger down. So resist the urge to do a lot of this. It's just going to create a lot more work for yourself. The other thing you really have to watch here is when you go, make sure this is an upstroke. Even though you're going to a lower string, you're still doing straight down up picking there. And then 2, 4, and then measure 5, open A string. And then we're going to run up the notes, open 2, 4, 5 on the A string. And then high E. So we have, we're just running straight up a scale there. And then this is an F sharp minor, so the relative minor of A. So we're going to put our first finger on the 2nd fret of the high E string and play 2, and then 2, 4, 2. And then 5, 4 on the high E string. So we have same shuffle picking rhythm there. And what we're doing here is what I call the bouncing technique. That's just a name I made up to help me remember it. But basically what we're doing is our melody note is the 2nd fret, and then we're bouncing to 1 note higher. Just an easy way to fill up a melody. You could also just play that open 2nd fret, or not open, the 2nd fret on the high E string. So, but it just gives you another variation. So instead of going, so instead of just filling that up with the 2nd fret, now we're going. So I just call it the bouncing technique. You can either bounce to a higher note or bounce to a lower note. So that's just a very common little fiddle move, and we're going to be using that a lot in this song. So again, I'll refer to it as the bouncing technique. You're basically going to one note higher in the scale, and you're just creating a little melodic movement that's kind of more pleasing to the ear. So that's all we're doing there. So again, we run up those notes, and then 2nd fret, and then right here, 4 quarter notes in a row. So we're going to walk up the notes. So 2, 4, 5, 2. Don't rush through that part. Do all downs there. That'll help you not rush through it. The other thing is, again, keep these down. So don't do this. See how it's very choppy too when you do it that way. If you keep your fingers down, it really helps with the flow of the song as well. And then right here, open high E. And then a little run, open to open on the high E. 4th fret on the A string with an upstroke. And then open 2 on the A. So we have. And then right here, a little ending lick. 4th fret on the A string twice. And then 2 open. Down to the 6th fret on the D string with your 3rd finger. And then open A, and then open 2, open. Again, that same little bouncing thing there. Instead of going, now we're going. Here it just adds a little flavor. So that's all we're doing there. So let's play those first 10 measures. That's like the basic A part. Here we go. Again, back to measure 3. A little faster.